Hello. Oh, gee, I just hit the mic. Hello. Have you ever wanted YouTube tips that could help you become the best person in the world? People, thingy-mabob? Well, look no further. I have some great YouTube tips that could help you grow an extended number of times compared to what you grew before. Tip number 1, sell your soul to the devil. I'm just kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem in the YouTube community, and that is these quote-unquote YouTube gurus who know exactly how to grow on YouTube. That make any sense to you? Don't make no sense to me. It don't make no sense to me. Are we recording? We're recording, right? Gee, I sure hope so. YouTube tips are so bad in many ways because they really don't have much substance to them. The typical YouTube tips that actually do work are said so often that people just don't believe them anymore, which is totally understandable by many regards because saying being consistent is totally gonna get you places. Really, it's gonna piss you off if you say it enough times. Look, I like being a YouTuber, I really do. But if the premise of being a good YouTuber is to upload every single day or to upload every single week consistently, you lost me. You lost me. I'm a college student. You lost me. The reality of the situation is, however, YouTube growth tips are everywhere. They are just non-stop chugging along like patch updates in Minecraft. How to grow on YouTube in YouTube 2022. How to get 100 subscribers in a week, 2022 update. How to get 1,000 subscribers in a month, 2022 update. It's like when 2023 drops, I guarantee you a month into 2023, we are going to see so many YouTube tip videos because Jesus Christ, they're everywhere. It's unbelievable. And the funny thing is, they don't really just apply to YouTube. If you take out the YouTube part of it and put in like Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or anything else, it'll still apply. You want to grow on Instagram in 2022? You got it. Want to get 1,000 videos going on TikTok for the week? Go ahead and do this. You want 1,500 followers on Facebook? I don't know why you're still on Facebook, but fuck it. Here we are. There's so many. It's like mitosis. When one pops up, it just like builds into another one, splits open, and then all of a sudden now it just keeps expanding and breaking off and becoming its own thing. It's like an ant colony. But the big question is, are they true? No. Most growth tips don't really provide much growth for two major reasons. They're unrealistic in the sense that they don't really apply much to any normal human being in normal human being circumstances. And the second is that growth in the format of what YouTube growth isn't really an individual statistic that can be studied. It's an umbrella term for multiple things happening all at once. Viewership, subscriber count, retention rate, and a whole plethora of other things that realistically are just not something the typical person thinks about. And because people want to grow on YouTube so quickly, it becomes a problem where you either get these tips that they don't work unless there's months of preparation, or there's just sloppy results on the end of the person utilizing the tip. Really, what this boils down to is pretty simple. It's that I go to college, for example, right? I am a college student. I go to college full-time. I take 5 classes a semester. It is the hell of a thing to deal with. As a college student, one of my biggest issues as a content creator is having to do content, do college work, and anything else that might be coming up. Like some students work and go to school, which is insanity. It happens to so many people, ironically, that it's impossible to be able to do this sometimes. When you see those words of like balancing content creating and balancing your work life or your school life or whatever, it used to be so different years ago. Now it's just horrible, and I'll explain why. Innovation has come a pretty long way with YouTube, which is kind of funny because not really, but not necessarily, but kind of, but also not really, but also kind of, but also no. Like, people have become more attracted to making videos in higher quality and quantity. And so people are learning about video editing and are becoming these massive experts, whereas back then you used to be able to upload about 30 minutes of Minecraft footage and you'd get a pretty good amount of views without any editing whatsoever. Now it's a little different. And because of that, people who have work lives who are not fully invested in YouTube can't really go places with their YouTube content because they don't have the time to provide such qualitative content. Or qualitative. Is it qualitative or qualitative? It might be qualitative. I don't know. What this means is that people who already have a full-time status on YouTube automatically have an easier time making videos and getting bigger than people who don't have that, unless they have months and months and months of preparation, and even then, that still probably doesn't apply for the most part. At least for me, I'm a student, so I get end of semester breaks, I graduate at some point, but even then, I still have to get a full-time job and work, and working is probably the hardest part, because when you're working full-time, there really aren't any breaks. You just kind of have to work no matter what. So yeah, if you're a content creator who's already dedicated to YouTube or who has the privilege to be able to do YouTube because you don't have to worry about bills or anything, then yeah, you're gonna have an easier time growing on the platform than someone who is working full-time. The other part of this, kind of, is growth, which is one hell of a word to use. Growth, in my opinion, is one of the weirder parts of this because growth is often used way too often to try and group together statistics that really should not be grouped together. Like, for example, viewership and audience retention. Are the two connected very deeply? Absolutely. Your viewership and your retention are going to go hand in hand. However, not in the way that you think. Just because you get 10,000 views does not mean that your audience is watching the entire video. You could get 10,000 views and get 50% retention or 20% retention or even 10% retention. Sometimes your attention span is just not as good as it used to be. And other times people just don't really like your video, and so they'll tune in for like 10 seconds and then they'll leave because why the hell are they even there in the first place? And that's problematic because viewership may look like a lot of growth, but it's not. If it's viewership but people are leaving the video, then what are the chances your next video is going to bring in the same viewership? It's not. And that's the problem with growth, is that growth tries to simplify it into these measures that really should not be simplified into anything at all. Just because you have 10,000 subscribers doesn't mean every video you make is going to get 10,000 or more views. It might not. In fact, it might get way less than that. And while that's not a sign of a good channel that's growing, it is a sign of how growth can be problematic in the sense of its umbrella terminology. On top of that, growth is arguably very subjective, like extraordinarily subjective if you think about it to different people. Some people may think that growth can be defined as subscriber count. Some people think growth is viewership. Some people think growth is audience retention. A lot of people think growth is in revenue. Most people think that, actually. And that's why growth as an idea to YouTube tips are very bad. It's just not worth understanding it because growth in and of itself is not the type of thing you'd want to use in the context of statistics. That is to say, in all honesty, tips can be great, especially when a new feature drops. Like, for example, YouTube Shorts. I don't know how I feel about them right now because I have been getting less views from YouTube Shorts, but I think that's because everyone is using YouTube Shorts. They give you a pretty good chunk of views, especially if you're a small content creator. So I don't know how to feel about it realistically. But I do know that when those YouTube gurus said that YouTube Shorts were a great way to grow your channel, they kind of were correct. It gives you more viewership. But again, we go back to that subjectivity of the matter. If it's that, well, if you want viewership, right, then obviously you're going to have a situation where shorts are going to help out a lot. But are those shorts going to lead to audience traffic to your channel? Are you going to get more subs from those shorts? Are you going to get more views from those shorts in your other videos? That's the problem. Most YouTube growth tip videos unfortunately try and push this kind of narrative that videos don't take time and effort. They absolutely 100% do. Even if it's not a lot of time, it's still a chunk of time. In reality, if you really want to grow on a platform like YouTube, you should focus on the one thing YouTube provides the best: videos. And with that, the quality of those videos and the quantity of those videos really should be up to whatever schedule you're looking forward to. But if you want to grow like Markiplier or PewDiePie, then it's going to be a lot more difficult than you think, especially when you're working a full-time job or if you're a college student or even a high school student. It's not easy when you have other things going on. And I mean, honestly, like, try using some of the tips that you've been told to do. Like, it doesn't work realistically. So I decided might as well, here are some actual tips that can help you grow on a YouTube platform. First of all, definitely do YouTube Shorts. It may seem like not a lot at first. They're great. They're a really good option. They provide you extra viewership. You can get extra revenue off of them now too. It's a really cool thing to use, especially if you already have a bunch of videos in your catalog that you can then turn into shorts. It's a great option, honestly. Consistency and frequency both help grow your viewership on YouTube, not your subscribers, and definitely not revenue. Especially now with watch time becoming a huge part in ad revenue, viewership is important, but not as important. And that's why when you want to think about consistency and frequency, your main goal shouldn't be to get more subscribers or more revenue. It should be to get more viewership. And with that, your videos should be somewhat qualitative in their value. And also, to be completely honest with you, I don't know how some of these tips are tested. Like for Instagram, for example, sometimes I see these weird posts that are like, how I revived this dead Instagram channel. And in reality, where's the proof in that? They never really show it. Same thing goes for YouTube. A lot of the time, they don't even show the proof for most of these tips. So, and I get it, right? Like YouTube growth is so abstract that you probably won't be able to find much proof in what it is that is working as a YouTube growth tip. But sometimes I just feel like people are downright lying, which is kind of funny. And my tips are very purposefully broad because that's exactly what they're there for. They're not supposed to be these tips that everyone succeeds from, but they are good tips at the end of the day that most people, if they utilize them properly, will definitely work. So yeah, that's how I feel about YouTube growth tips. They're really bad. You really shouldn't be a part of them. They're not good. You shouldn't watch those videos. They're just not fun anymore to watch. They probably used to be good, and then after a while, it just became this, like, conglomerate mess. If you're watching a YouTube video that's talking about growth tips, and you feel like these tips aren't going to work, they're probably not. So do yourself a favor, don't give them any more ad revenue than what they're bargaining for with that video, and just watch another video. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I know that this is kind of awkward now, seeing the face of Bluestuff is like, whoa, dude. And I would have done a face reveal kind of video, but there wasn't really much of a point in doing that because my face has already been seen before. This is just like young adult Brendan that you're looking at now, and not like high school Brendan. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, comment your favorite part about the video, or comment just how stupid some YouTube growth tips can be, and subscribe. It'll help support the channel a lot. But if you're already subscribed and you have the extra money and you want to spend it on moi, Christmas is coming up, kids. Memberships are only $2.99 a month. They have really cool features. You get priority videos, priority comments, a lot of great stuff. If you want to know more about it, links are in the description. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.